PipSnipers here, back for another update. Let's take a look at XRP over here. And if you haven't seen my other XRP videos, go ahead and do that. You guys can see a full roadmap of XRP, and you can get a full understanding of exactly how I view this structure. So we have a 3-wave move down for your A wave, a 3-wave move up for your B wave, and then a 5-wave move to the downside with a truncation in the 5th wave. So you see how the wave 5 goes sideways instead of breaching this low and kind of having a regular wave 5, it just goes sideways. And the reason for that is because we have such an explosive 3rd wave move to the downside. Hence why we have a sideways wave 5 of your C wave. So now once this wave 5 came in, this would be considered your spring in the Wyckoff accumulation schematic. So you see how we have a psychological low right here. You see how we burst through it right over here with this wick, but then we managed to hold support above it, and then bulls pick up steam from there. So this would be considered your spring over here. And then what you have with Bitcoin is in January we start our impulsive move to the upside. So what we have over here is your wave 1. You come down for an ABC correction for your wave 2. You have your 3rd wave, a triangle wave for your 4th wave, or a falling wedge pattern. And notice how the waves are overlapping with each other. Okay, this is very similar to that of what we had back in 2020 when we had an ascending broadening wedge. And we can see that the 5th wave was very explosive. Okay, this 5th wave was very explosive, but the correction that came after it, or our B wave, went below trendline support and all the way down to the 70.2% fib when we measure the move right from the beginning. Okay, so similar to that of, so it's no different than what we have going on right now. We have a leading diagonal, so the waves are overlapping. We have a 5th wave hitting the 1.236, and then a huge capitulation move below trendline support right down to the 78.6% fib, or the 1.618 when we use the trend-based fib. So let's go ahead and zoom in here on the peak over here at 93 cent. And we will dissect every wave just so we can get a better understanding of exactly what XRP is doing. And what we have over here is a 3-wave move down, a 3-wave move up, rejection off the 702, and then a 5-wave move to the downside, holding support off the 78.6% fib. We were so oversold here. So much so to a point where we have an automatic rally up, have another A, B, C, another ABC, and then a 5-wave move up all the way up to the 70.2% fib. Okay, so notice how XRP loves to reject off that 702, 786 region. So whenever you have a peak, so let's say you have 5 waves here. Okay, this is 5 waves. And then this is your broadening wedge. Okay, it hits resistance, and then we have a downtrend. Okay, then we have a counter trend, and then a continuation of that trend. Now the continuation will either sweep these lows or find support off key Fibonacci levels, and in this case we found support off key Fibonacci levels before we see a continuation of the next leg in the market. So that's exactly what we see over here, right? We see a 3-wave move down, a 3-wave move up, and then another 3-wave move down, creating a W, X, Y correction. Now, when we zoom in here on this Y leg, we see a 3-wave move down, 3-wave move up, and a 5-wave move to the downside. Now notice how the waves are overlapping with each other. That's because this is a ending diagonal. Now usually within C waves you may see the waves overlap with each other. That's just simply because the price is very squeezed. Now when we zoom in here on this C wave of our Y wave, you see how many times we've rejected off trend line resistance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, rejected off of it 5 times. You see that? So this is acting as our trend line liquidity. And this is exactly what we did. We broke through it. Now we're holding support on it. 1. Okay, we're holding support on it. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and we may come down for a 4th time. Right down here below, 0.526, say just enough to a point where you take out all of these over leveraged buy stops, thinking that this is the bottom of the wedge. Okay, now this very well might be. This very well might be the bottom of the wedge. Now we come up, hold the hold the 702 here at 0.5326. Now remember, if you lose 0.5326, then we likely come down to 0.53. If you lose 0.53, then it's likely that our falling wedge isn't finished yet. Okay? And this was just a D wave before we have an E wave down, just enough to sweep these lows here at 0.5251, just enough to tip the market over the edge, make them think that it's going to go down one more leg, and then we blast off from there. So if we go on the 30-minute time frame, we see that we have a move to the downside. We have psychological support. We sweep psychological support, have an initial advance, a throwback, a move to the upside to trendline resistance right over here. Okay, and then we have distribution on the small time frame. So whenever you see a range like this forming at the top, and then you see a move down to the bottom of the range, and then a move up to sweep structural liquidity, and then a break of structure, this is pure distribution on the small time frame. Okay, so right now this is just distribution on the small time frame. We moved all the way down to the macro 70.2% fib. Okay, now remember, if we lose this level over here, okay, 0.5326, then it's likely we have an E wave just enough to sweep this C wave low. Okay, and then we'll likely form bullish divergence on the RSI or the indicator, and then we will blast off towards the 100-day SMA. Okay, so let's take a look at the 21-day and see exactly where we are, and we'll also take a look at the 50 period on the daily, and also let's take a look at the 100 on the daily. Okay, so as you can see, we are below the 50 and 21-day. Okay, so bulls aren't in full control yet. I mean, when we take a look at the macro structure, yeah, bulls are in control. We're not going to have a collapse any further, maybe on the small time frame, but when we look at this, we see that the correction is coming to an end, because from 93 cent all the way till now, it's been over 220 days. So think of how much accumulation is within this wedge over here. Think of how much accumulation is in there. Okay, so it's just coming down now for a sub wave 4 of our wave 1 of our macro third wave to the upside. Okay, so it's just doing a small little wedge pattern over here, just grinding out a bottom, retesting prior resistance as support. Okay, so remember, let's go back to the 30-minute time frame. go below this 786, 702 region, then it's likely we sweep these C wave lows, come down just a little bit, maybe even go over here. Okay, have a truncation of the E wave, and then blast off towards 0.5458. Go above 0.5458, then we will be in direct battle, or bulls will be in direct battle with the 100-day SMA. As soon as you get over that 100-day SMA at 0.58, it's game on for bulls, and XRP bulls have taken control. Okay, so we had a 5-wave move up in a leading diagonal, a WXY correction, 4 hour, second wave to the upside. Okay, now a lot of people are asking me, can you take a look at the small time frame wave count? And yeah, I can definitely do that. Let's take a look at another chart that I have over here. Okay, so when we take a look at this and we see what's going on a blank chart, so this is what we see over here. We see so this is your rising wedge. Okay, this would be your subwave 4, and then this is your subwave 5 of your C wave. And to the untrained eye, it looks like this coin is dead, but in actuality, it's just doing Wyckoff accumulation on the small time frame. Okay, I'll show you over here. Okay, so over here would be considered your selling climax. You have your automatic rally, right? Your second test in phase B below this selling climax. You then have an initial advance, a throwback. This over here would be your optimal entry. After your throwback, you have a move back up to the top of the range, and then a backup phase. So this over here would be your sign of strength right here at 0.5787. This is when all the retail pile in their money, right? Because they think it's just going to keep on going and it's not going to stop. But we always have consolidation before we have expansion. So now look over here, we have a shared trend to the downside. Okay. So let's take a look at this on the Coinbase chart that I have here. Let me see here. Okay, so this is the Coinbase chart. Okay, perfect Wyckoff accumulation on the small time frame here with a target at around that 62-cent region to 65-cent region. So this is Wyckoff accumulation here. This is the diagram. Looks like it's perfectly following the diagram. It's just that we're just chopping around in here. So this is your rising wedge, or sorry, your falling wedge. Okay, you see how we have just a little bit room down here? So we may come down just a little bit, chop around in here for our E wave, and then make our way towards phase E. So you see how after your SOS we come down to the top of the range and chop around in here, maybe do a wedge or some type of accumulation pattern before blasting off into phase E. Okay, so this is exactly what we're seeing on the small time frame. Okay, so don't get so wrapped up into where XRP is going to go on the small time frame. Make sure to remember that we are breaking out of a macro downtrend. Okay. Okay, so remember, okay, we came down all the way to the 786 there. Then when we zoom in on the hourly, we see that we are holding support off the off the 702. in relation to this low. Break this 702, 786 region, then it's likely that we do something like this. We go below this low for your E wave, have a wave 5 overthrow, go below the bottom support of this wedge to take out the trendline liquidity, chop around in here, and then go off. Okay, so remember, if you go below this 702 level, 786 region, then we're going to come down just a little bit more below this low, bottom out here, find the bottoming process, and then make our way towards 62 to 65 cent. Remember, getting towards 62, 64 cent would be a full-on break of structure. Okay, and bulls would take control. Let's go ahead and take a look at this chart over here that I have. The KuCoin, sorry, the Kraken chart that I have here. Okay, so let's take a look at this on the weekly time frame. Okay, let's just delete that. And what do we see here, right? What do we see here from this very point going forward? Well, actually, what we'll do is, excuse me, so we'll go to this chart over here. We'll go to this Bitstamp chart. And what do we see from this low over here? Okay, we see Wyckoff accumulation. Now, to the normal eye, they would think that this coin is dead, but this coin is not dead. And the reason for that is because we have accumulation at the lows in which people do not know how to decipher. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how I decipher Wyckoff accumulation. I've been doing it for a very long time, and I can spot it very easily. So what we have over here is we have your selling climax. Okay, that's your selling climax. When you have your selling climax, it makes it hard for people. It's very easy to move the price back up. Okay, now they say that traders are controlling this price, but in actuality, it's just algorithmic trading, okay, by the market makers and the people who have really big money. Retail do not control the price of XRP. Okay, these wicks maybe retail does these wicks. Okay, but the full price of XRP, retail does not control it. It's not a game for retail. It's a game for hedge funds competing against each other. Okay, regardless of that, I think there's more to it. I think it is algorithmic trading. So what we have over here is your selling climax. After your selling climax, you're going to have an automatic rally. After your automatic rally, you have a secondary test of the lows. After your secondary test of the lows, you go on to have a failed breakout. After your failed breakout, you come back down to meet these lows. You may go below your secondary test, or you may do a double bottom for your secondary test in phase B. Okay, after your secondary test in phase B, you have another short squeeze, which prompts the price back up to the top of the range for your failed breakout, right? Number 2. Come back down to mid-range, chop around in here, get squeezed. You see how we got squeezed over here? This over here would be your last point of support. Okay, you have another last point of support over here, and then you have your sign of strength. Now remember, Ripple won against the SEC right before we did sign of strength. Okay, there's no such thing as coincidence. It's all baked into the chart. Okay, Don't rely on news. It just goes to show you that news does not matter. Okay, news comes after just to provide a narrative to the chart. You have your sign of strength. After your sign of strength, we always will come back down to the top, down to mid-range. So what is this? This is your backup phase. Okay, this is your backup / your last point of support in a WXY correction in which I showed you. Okay, so this is your WXY. And now we're about to see a blast off similarly to how we saw a blast off over here, right? Everyone thought the price was, look, the price went down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. You had 6 weeks of red, and then out of nowhere, poof. You see that? So who said it won't happen again, right? Considering we're entering into phase E, after your backup phase, you enter into phase E. Phase E is point of no return. Okay, so if we have, so the one-to-one target of this, okay, if we look at this, let's take a look here. So just the simple one-to-one target should take you around that $1.40, so around that $1.60 region. Now this is just a this is just a measured technical target, just using the trend lines. But if we were to take a look here at some targets, what we can do is take a fib from this high down to this low. We'll take a look at it on the linear scale. Okay, let me see here. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. I think we go to this region over here for a very explosive wave 5. This is my Discord over here, and I post a lot of charts, or XRP charts. And let me show you a roadmap that I created here. So if you're not in my Discord, please join the Discord. You get access to a bunch of charts, and as much coins as you want. So this is the roadmap here. You have a 5-wave move up, a WXY correction for your wave 2, then you have a 5-wave move up for your wave 3. You have an ABC down, an ABC up, and then a 5-wave move down for your for your C wave, and then we start our impulsive move up. So I think we come up to these blue fibs, take out your buy side liquidity for your wave 3, come down for a little bit of a wave 4, and then we have a very explosive wave 5 to the upside. Now remember, these targets are subject to change. On YouTube, I won't be updating it. Okay, it's only for the Discord members. So make sure to click the link in the description below to join this Discord, so you can get access to all of these charts that I have here. Okay, you can ask me any question you want, but for now, let's go back to XRP. And before I end this video, I just want to come back to the small time frame here. Okay, let's come back to the small time frame. Okay, let's go to the 30-minute time frame, and we see on the 30-minute time frame the price is squeezed. Okay, there is absolutely nothing to worry about. If we go below this low, that's okay. We will just come below this C wave low, have an E wave, maybe have a little bit of a truncation, or maybe even an overthrow of the wedge before we start our next impulsive move to the upside. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed the XRP video. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. Peace out and take it easy. See you in the next one.